welcome to This Week on the Diamonds. I'm here, Carol McKee with South+, 605 with my co-hosts,
Travis Lape.
Sandy Delker-Holbert.
And we're ready to talk a little softball.
We always are.
You know, 4th of July weekend, what gets more American than playing ball and watching fireworks?
Not much. There's not much more American than that.
It was, and have a huge tournament like the ring neck here was just amazing this past weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great weekend.
It was beautiful. The weather held, besides Sunday morning rain, but I mean, overall it was a great tournament and a lot of teams and a lot of games that were played.
Well, and Cheryl Morgan, the tournament director, and the committee did a great job of adjusting, doing what they needed to do to compensate for that rain. And then it actually probably helped the fields.
Absolutely.
A lot of teams from all over the state, and other states, teams from Minnesota, Nebraska,
Canada.
You know, I thought, oh, Canadian, well, it's not 4th of July for them. It's always 4th of July, but it's not a holiday for them. So
Right.
It was fun to see all those different teams here, and we had a chance to visit with quite a few.
Absolutely.
Now, you were over at Harmadon.
Yep.
And you were over at Harmadon.
Correct.
With your daughter's team, and I didn't get a chance to get over there because there was so much going on here at Sherman. What happened over at Harmadon that was kind of exciting? And
you know, there was a lot of good softball played over there for the younger divisions. Over at Harmadon, they had some of the 10s, 12s, and 14s. I spent most of my time up on the 14s, and just really some great ball, especially from our South Dakota teams. Diamonds Elite had a great pool play on Saturday that prepared them for Championship Sunday. Fusion, Hartford Fusion out of Hartford, South Dakota, had a great Saturday. I think they shocked themselves of how well they played.
Wow.
Because of the competition they came up against. I mean, it really showed their colors. Extreme South Dakota, Monica Strasser's team played really well on Saturday as well. They put them in preparation for Sunday. Sioux Falls Steel was up there in the 14s, another team that we've talked a lot about this year on South+, 605, and they played well on Saturday as well.
Larry's team.
Yep,
Right.
Larry's team. SWAT Adrenaline, coached by Jim Murphy, another team that's local here that played well. They played Diamonds Elite, and that was a ball game the whole time.
Right.
The ladies, both teams battled.
Just battled back and forth.
Yeah, it was fun to see our South Dakota teams really compete well in this tournament, because in history past, our teams have not fared very well. I mean, sometimes we're overmatched.
Well, there's a lot of those Minnesota teams are pretty sharp.
Can be
Right.
insulting.
The Wisconsin teams in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Canadian teams
held their own.
They did. This year we probably had the most success out of any probably in the last 5 years of South Dakota teams being in the championship bracket on Sunday, but also then moving through the bracket pretty well.
It was fun to see.
Yep.
So did you see some good games? Obviously.
Saw some great games.
Yep. Had a great weekend.
The games that I actually saw, they were close games. There were not any games that were blowouts. So the competition was very well matched, and anybody could have won any one of those games. It was just whoever came to play ball and play solid ball, work hard for an hour, was going to be the winner. And that's exactly what we saw all weekend.
Yeah.
So I got to see quite a few home runs where they were parking it. That was nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes it exciting.
It really is. So we have a list of all the ring neck champions. Cheryl and Gary have done a great job of getting all the results up on the website. And by the way, I don't know if you've looked at SDASAsoftball.com this week.
Right.
Every week it's getting better and better and better. It's amazing the information that's up there. So this last weekend, they crowned quite a few South Dakota champions. And we got to see the 10U, the Diamond Storm, Sioux Falls Diamond Storm. Got to interview quite a few of all the girls there, actually. Had a great time visiting with them, and we've been kind of getting back and forth on Instagram and tagging players.
Yep, and they're so cute.
They're so fun.
They are.
It was so fun.
They're so cute.
I asked one of the girls, she had the black on her, and I said, now why do you put that black paint on your eyes? She said, to make us look mean. I said, I think it also is supposed to help the sun. But that too. It was great. And the 12UB, the Sioux Falls Fusion, were the champions. A great job to them. And then Diamonds Destruction took second.
Awesome. Good for them. 2
South Dakota teams in the championship in the 12B. In the 14UB, it was the Brookings Outlaws who prevailed. And again, I think they was 2 South Dakota teams. Sioux Falls Steel took second. So great job in the 14Bs. And I did see the 10U game because there were some 10U games here.
Yeah.
So it was fun to see them. And then South Dakota Flash Attack took third in the 14 UB. So
Good for them.
yeah, great job.
Yeah.
And then of course in the 16 UB, it was Diamond Ice who took second, and Brandon Blaze with third. And the 18U championship was the Brookings Outlaws. So pretty darn well, good showing for South Dakota amateur softball.
Very good.
Fast pitch, you know. I think there was 128 teams altogether that were here.
That sounds about right.
And, you know, the umpires were going just crazy. And I did hear some comments. As I was sitting and putting some stuff up on the site and getting things updated for scores, one of the coaches from, I think he was from Wisconsin, came up and wanted to know the name of the umpire. And, you know, usually when they want to know the name of the umpire, it's not a good thing. He's had nothing but high praises. He said that he needs to get down to Florida and keep going. It was Matthew Morgan.
Oh, wow.
So he was really, really impressed with Matthew. So I put out a request to Matthew to see if we can get him to come on the show.
Absolutely. That
Very
would be
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
So that kind of is the tournament results that I know of. Now, do you know of teams that went anywhere else?
The only team that was out of state was our 14s, South Dakota Renegades, and they
Okay.
were out at the Firecracker out in Colorado.
Oh, that's right.
That was really, I think, the only team that was out of state this
We had
weekend.
South Dakota Select, I think, was
Out there as well.
They were out
the
there
14s and the
as well.
18s.
Yeah, the 16s and
16s and
18s.
18s, yeah. And, you know, I did not double check to see what their final was. Let me see if I can quickly find that. But I know the 16s came really close to keep going on, but the 18s were still in the hunt, I believe.
That tournament is a tough tournament out there. Teams from all over come in for that one, and it's a great tournament. They hold it at several different parks, highly recruited. Most of the Division I schools will all be there recruiting. It's quite the tournament of the summer for that area. Because of all the teams that do come in.
How does that work? Because I heard that they have the firecracker,
Yep.
and then they have the sparkler, and then they have the little sparkler or something.
So they
to that
all
effect? Is that
yes.
E? Is it? What is it?
So they all coincide together.
Okay.
Depending on what park you play at is probably depending on if you're in the Firecracker or the Sparkler. And then games happen during the day, and then at night are all-star games. So you can apply to get into the all-star game, and by paying some money and basically paying their fees, you can get selected to be in the All-Star game, and then at the evenings they have all these All-Star games going on throughout the parks.
Okay. Because Ed Keefe was actually approached, and they asked him...
Probably to
Yeah,
coach.
to coach.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if he actually got to take advantage of that opportunity, but I know that they had asked him, so I thought, well, that's got to be quite an honor to...
Yeah. As NAIA and junior college coaches, they're always looking for coaches out there to coach those all-star games, because Division II, Division I coaches can't.
Gotcha.
They can't participate in an all-star
Okay,
game. So, but yeah, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. I went out there one year recruiting, and if you don't go out there organized, you're in trouble, because the parks are a long distance apart from each other. And if you get to the wrong park and there's not much you can recruit there, it's a wasted time.
Is it in Denver, or where is it at, actually?
Yeah, it's a suburb of Denver, so like Colorado Springs area is a little bit of some of it. Denver will have some, and then there's another little town that hosts quite a few, and I can't think of that right offhand.
I did find it. Jim and Shashak had been keeping us posted, and the Select 16s lost to a really good Firecrackers team out of Orange County, 7-2. So that kind of ended their run for the championship. The 18s did go into the championship bracket with a 13-2 win over Colorado Explosion. Now, I don't have anything after that, so I'm assuming that maybe things didn't happen quite the way they were hoping to, but it sounded like they were having some really good games out there.
That is
Good for them.
good representation of South Dakota talent.
Right.
It definitely is. Well, that wraps up what we had for tournaments going on. We're going to have a special guest here, and it's always so wonderful to be here in the Hall of Fame and steeped in all this
I've never been in
softball.
here. I had no idea this existed, so it's just fun to get lost in some of the history here.
And all the softball history right here, and I think a lot of people probably come to the tournaments here, and it's here, but you're busy with the games.
Other things, yeah.
And you don't think about it, and one of the other things to think about is it's air conditioned in here.
Yes, and they keep it air conditioned, so it's a good way to get out of the heat and cool off.
I came in over the weekend and did a little updating on my computer and got to listen to Wayne Stoffers giving some tours, and it was just really fun. And of course, all this history is around here, and we want to remind people that if you have old newspaper clippings, old clips, they'd love to have them here. So I'm looking forward to your discussion.
It should be fun.
With Mike Dykstra. Mike is, of course, president of South Dakota Amateur Softball Association and very involved here with the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, it should be a good interview.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back.
You've worked hard all year. I need you to bring it, dig down deep today. Because today, everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Play. When we first learned to work together, it was through play. We learned social skills, give and take, freedom and teamwork through play. There's no age limit on play, no skill level required. Play It Again Sports knows play. We buy and sell new and quality used sports and fitness equipment for less, so everybody can play.
Come on, let's play.
You bet I play.
Now it's time to play.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
The official sponsor of
All those that play.
Welcome back, Softball 605, and with us today is Mike Dykstra. He is the president of the Amateur Softball Association here in South Dakota, and also really an integral part of the Hall of Fame building that we're sitting in today. Mike, talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame and what this building really has inside of it for people coming to the park on tournament day.
You know, years ago, I'm just going to go back a couple of years. Years ago when we all decided that this is what we wanted was a Hall of Fame, you know, it's like, where do you locate it? Well, we want it located around the softball fields. Well, we came up with the idea of putting it on wheels, and it was wheeled all around the state. Well, you know, that idea was great, but it became very expensive. So we decided through the towns that Sioux Falls probably was the right site for it. And it's just a way to honor all of the folks that have been formally inducted into the Hall of Fame with some of their memoirs and some of their equipment, some of their stories, really.
Right.
And that so people can come in and see exactly you know, what those folks were all about.
Absolutely. And this building just has so much history of South Dakota ASA, all the way from men's to boys to fast pitch to slow pitch. Really a special venue to have right here in Sioux Falls. When is it open and available to the public to come in and see a place like this?
We try and keep it open every weekend that there is a softball tournament out here at Sherman Park. But I really receive quite a few calls during the year of maybe somebody is just driving through and saying, hey, would you be available, you know, to run out here and open up the doors just so we can come through, you know, and take a look, and hopefully we can accommodate. Most times we can.
Right. That's incredible. I mean, thinking of this place and what it takes kind of led into my next question of who mans this on those weekends, because there's a lot of weekends that there's softball tournaments here, but even then those phone calls that you get saying, hey, can we just swing by and check it out? Who really mans this and helps make sure that this is maintained?
Well, we have a committee of 4, 5, 6 people. But of course, in this day and age, we are all softball people, so sometimes we're always busy. You know, somebody's always doing something in the softball world.
Right.
I would say myself and Wayne Stoffers are the main 2 characters that somebody will see in here each of those weekends, and we kind of work out ourselves. Now, coming up in the month of July, I'm busy with some of the softball tournaments that I have to attend, and so it does get a little bit more difficult.
Right.
But we'll keep her open because we have a lot of softball tournaments right here in Sioux Falls in the next month. So
absolutely, Fast Pitch has their state tournament coming up here.
It's going to be a big one.
You know, I think they were saying over 160 teams, starting Friday morning and running all the way to Sunday. Then it will be women's slow pitch. Will that be here, or is that shipped out?
Women's slow pitch is in Huron and Mitchell this year.
Okay.
But we will have of course, the youth fast pitch for the girls. Then it will be boys and girls slow pitch for the state will be here. I think I'm missing one in there, but I can't remember exactly. I believe men's fast pitch will also be here. That'll be closer into August. And then at the end of August, beginning of September, there will be an 18 and under national girls fast pitch. So that's what's coming up in the next month and a half, I should say.
Right, a lot of tournaments, a lot of ball to be played out here. With that, leading into August and September, the ASA always, South Dakota ASA always has their annual banquet to honor the Hall of Fame.
Correct.
It's called the Hall of Fame Banquet.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that and share with our audience, Softball 605, of how maybe they could get involved or be a part of something like that? And then what happens at this banquet?
Okay. Well, the banquet this year happens to be in Sioux Falls, and it's October 10th, and it'll be at the downtown Holiday Inn Center, and actually we're way up in the top.
Oh,
so
nice.
We have 7 inductees this year that the folks they have gained enough votes through the voting membership to be inducted. I think last week Wayne said we have 5 this year, 2 that for whatever reason couldn't do it last year, but they will do it this year. So it's a rather large banquet this year. And in conjunction with that, we also honor the folks that have been approved through a very extensive process of our youth scholarship recipients, I should say. And they get between $500 and $750 a year, and we have 10 of those. And we encourage them to come, but we can understand if somebody is from Rapid City, maybe they don't want to drive to Sioux Falls or vice versa on that night. But we try and encourage them folks to come too.
Absolutely.
It may not seem like a lot of money, but it might pay for their books for a semester or something, So, and Gary Young is the head of that, and they do a very good job. There is a lot of people that there's 100 people that are applying for this particular. So I mean, they do a good job
to sort through and try to get it. And every little bit helps when you're going to college. If it's just paying for one book or whatever, every little bit helps.
And in addition to that, then we also honor some of our umpires at the banquet. We have an Umpire of the Year award, and that will be given out at that particular banquet also. And then if there's any umpires out there that have earned what they call their Indicator Award, and their Indicator Award is if they have enough national tournaments that they have been part of, then it's a national award that is given to them.
Wow. So
that is given there also. And then the last, but certainly not the least, is we give out what we call a Distinguished Service Award. And that's for that special person in each town kind of that we go to that really gives over and above for, the sport of softball. And they may not be a board president, they may not be this, they just love the sport of softball.
Right. And when you're talking about that Distinguished Award, is that a nomination, or does that come kind of from the state board itself of talking with the local associations and that?
Well, actually it comes from my committee.
Okay.
And then we are the ones that will make that determination.
Gotcha.
But of course, most of the folks that are on my committee are right here in Sioux Falls. So we don't know the Huron folks, we don't know the Aberdeen folks, so we'll call up there and we'll say, hey guys, think of somebody, and they'll give us a few names and what they exactly do for the sport, and then we kind of make that decision
from
ourselves.
there. Awesome. Mike, also talking about amateur softball, now this is your first year, correct, as president of the state. How has that been going, and what kind of roles do you play in this as president of the Amateur Softball Association?
Well, Steve Riswald was our president the past 2 years, so we have a president, first vice president, second vice president, kind of move up the chain a little bit and all that.
Yep.
You preside over the executive council meetings. Being president just means you've probably been involved in softball a lot of years. But, it is. It's a nice feeling that you get, because it is a voting process. So the folks that can vote for executive meeting have to vote for you. You have to be nominated and voted. So yeah, it's a good feeling, but That's basically what a president does.
And what it does.
And Gary calls a lot, and things like that.
And Gary's in his second year as commissioner.
Yep, state commissioner.
As state commissioner, and so getting his feet on the ground as well, just kind of getting everything
Right.
ordered and what needs to happen at the state level.
As well as whenever there's passing of the torch, there's always going to be some curves and bumps and hiccups and all that, and there's no different there, but it's like with anybody else.
Right.
He's doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely, and I would say our state on the amateur softball side is continuing to grow interest, both I think at all levels. Would you say that you see it from the state level of registrations coming in, that those are staying pretty high for us?
Yeah, I believe they're staying very constant. I mean, I can't say that we're losing a lot, but we're not out there really gaining a lot either.
Gotcha.
So, but you know, it's staying about the same. I think we register a little bit over 2,000 teams year in, year out, and that's from adults to youth and all the way back up the chain again.
Wow. So quite a few. I mean, when you think of 2,000 teams and just figure an easy 10 people per team, you're talking a lot of softball players in South Dakota playing the game, all the way from little co-ed, slow pitch, fast pitch, to men's and women's slow pitch and men's fast pitch still.
Yeah.
Do you see a time coming anytime soon that women's fast pitch comes back into the play here?
You know, I know that they try every year,
Right.
And I think we're getting more interest. You know, for maybe that couple teams out there that are really thinking about it, and you know, it's a great sport, and I really wish we would get more interest, but. Yeah, there's rumblings, let's
Right.
put it that way, whereas
Right.
maybe 5 years ago you didn't hear anything about it. So, you know, we're getting closer maybe to add some of those teams.
Wonderful. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us on Softball 605 today. Hopefully we'll have you back, but also maybe some Hall of Famers
Absolutely.
to visit with us and talk about their experience in softball and what they've done for the game. But thank you so much for really being an integral part of making sure that this history continues on, because I know you and Wade really work hard out here every weekend to make sure this building's open for people to come by. So
Always ask questions, and the stories you hear, it's I wish we could have a tape recorder in this building sometime.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Softball 605, we're going to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be back to wrap up the show.
Rep the 605 with Softball 605 apparel from our clothing partner, Dakota Lettering. Just click on the store banner on the Softball 605 website to see a wide variety of styles and colors. Want more options? Visit the store for an almost unlimited variety. Softball 605 Clothing. Represent.
Getting recruited by college coaches is more difficult every year. There are thousands of other athletes competing for your position. MyPlayerPage.com is the best place for athletes to showcase their personal and player information. Check us out today at MyPlayerPage.com. Any sport, any athlete, any state, any city, champions all.
Welcome back to This Week on the Diamonds. Great interview you had with Mike.
It was fun. Mike's just got so much knowledge about the Hall of Fame and really the ins and outs of softball and how South Dakota ASA operates. Being president, he kind of talked a little bit about that. It was kind of just maybe a pecking order of he served a long enough time and now he's in that position, but really looking at how to grow the association and continue softball at all levels for ASA.
Doing a great job. And if you're out and you haven't met Mike Dykstra, you frequently heard him called Big Mike, and you don't understand why when you meet him.
Yes, you have to look up to him.
Yes, he's got some great height. So, well, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming tournaments coming up. Out in Rapid City, they have the King of the Hills men's and women's slow pitch tournament coming up this weekend. That is a huge tournament, and it actually takes 3 communities to host it. They have the games at the Star of the West complex in Rapid City and at BHSU Fields in Spearfish, and then it's the Sturgis Softball Complex. So,
Wow.
And that's men's and women's slow pitch. Big event out there. I want to wish everyone that's going out to play that out there this weekend, the best of luck. I know they'll have a good time.
Make sure to send results so we can highlight those on our next week's show.
Yep, and you can send those to me at carol@softball605.com, or you can send them to us on the Facebook page in a message, but we want to know those results if we can get them. I know that Gary Young has been doing a fantastic job getting those in, so if you get them to Gary or get them to us, you need to get them to Gary for sure, but we'd like to have them as well.
Right, absolutely.
So that'll be a good weekend there for everyone out there. And then, of course, coming up this weekend we have
The ASA softball tournament here in town for fast pitch.
the state tournament. It's not just, it's state. The girls were so excited this weekend at the Ring Neck talking about, I can't wait for state. And they thought this was a good, this past weekend was a good preparation for them.
For this, Yep, this is what they trained for all season long, and now they're at the pinnacle of the season, and it's time to show your guts.
Yeah.
This will probably be one of the first tournaments in a long time that it's not over 100 degrees on the weekend of state.
It'll be close. Only 90.
Only 90.
We were hoping that Carol Pipgrass, who is the JO commissioner and tournament director for the state fast pitch tournament, would be able to join us, but she's got a very busy week, as you can imagine, just wrapping up the Ring Neck and getting ready for the state ASA.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a busy week for Carol. We're thinking of you, Carol. We'll see you. We'll see you on the diamonds here later on this week. But so that's coming up. And how many teams?
I believe they've gone over 160. I want to say it's closer to 170, but I have not heard the official number at this point yet.
So then will they do like they did last weekend? Will there be some games here and some games
Yeah, so
at
we'll
Harmadon?
use both parks, Harmadon and Sherman. The games start earlier than they've ever started before. I believe first round games are in the morning, and typically what has been a rule of thumb for the state tournament is starting around noon, 1 o'clock, but due to how many teams and how many rounds they have to get in, they have to start earlier. So it's a good problem to have, as long as weather holds and there's no rain and no issues that way, that they can get through the double elimination tournament. So it's a little different than a normal tournament where teams will play pool play and then championship they'll be in bracket. They start in bracket right away and then go double elim throughout.
So out of the over 100 teams that are coming, is that 10U through 18U then?
Yeah.
Is it A and B?
It'll be 3 divisions, A, B, and C.
Okay.
And so we'll have teams from Watertown to Bonham to Tyndall. We'll have teams from Platte,
Rapid City,
Rapid City,
Spearfish, Sturgis,
Pierce, yep. I mean, you really think of some of our little towns, they'll be bringing teams as well, and they'll be playing in the recreational division. Hurley, Viborg, I saw them on the list. And so really this brings all of our teams of South Dakota ASA to one area.
And do a lot of the program presidents and representatives come to this tournament? For example, I know a lot of the teams are part of a club or an association.
Yep.
Do a lot of the presidents and officers have come to watch the games?
It probably varies. I mean, some of them might be coaching, and that's why they're here, but they're not necessarily coming just to watch or to be a part of that.
They don't have a meeting scheduled in conjunction with it or anything?
No.
Sometimes I know they do that with the state.
Yeah, so our state meeting for ASA happens at the end of January, and that brings everybody together at that point. But during the state tournament, it's just
Everybody's
games.
too busy.
Yeah, it's just games.
Well, if you represent a program or association, we sure hope we get a chance to visit with you this weekend on Softball 605, because it's a great opportunity to meet people from all over the state.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about it. Can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of softball.
Yep, busy weekend.
And we have more tournaments coming up here, beyond the state youth fast pitch tournament. We have the ASA Women's Over 35 Slow Pitch State Tournament. That is going on in Pierre this weekend at the Oahe Complex. So that should be a lot of fun.
Sure, if I wasn't involved with the fast pitch side, I'd probably go to that.
You have to get old enough to be it.
Right, exactly. I've got a couple years to go.
You got a couple years to go. And there's a men's slow pitch tournament too coming up.
Yeah, in Watertown. The Zubar Men's Slow Pitch Invitational, men's E and below. So, but I think that one's actually in Aberdeen.
Yeah, I was going to say it's in Aberdeen. Now that I think about it, the Zubar's up there. I think that's a tournament that's been going on for a long time.
Little history for it.
Yeah, I think there's some history for it. We'd love to have somebody from the Zubar tournament contact us and give us a little of that history. That'd be fun to know.
Absolutely.
Or maybe we can do a little research. I think I even saw a program over there, something that had to do with the Zubar
Oh, wow.
tournament. So they're already here in the Hall of Fame.
So there's something there.
There's
Absolutely.
something going on there. Then we have another one, a youth slow pitch tournament, right?
Yes, it looks like it is the McDonald's Larry's Lumber Midsummer Youth Slow Pitch Showdown, and that is, where's that one at?
That one's in Watertown.
It's in Watertown as well.
Yeah, the other one's in Aberdeen, this one's in Watertown. And the McDonald's Larry's Lumber has been a great supporter of youth softball. I've seen the teams that they have sponsored, and I think we recognized them last week. So.
Right.
So obviously they've stepped up to the plate and are a sponsor here for this as well. So, and I think that wraps up the tournaments that we have coming up. Of course, we have a few more coming up the week after. We'll talk about those next week.
Yep.
Including the ASA Youth Slow Pitch Tournament, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Right.
That's also here in Sioux Falls.
That'll be right here.
Yep, it's just starting to wind down.
It is.
The fall season. It is. And let's see, we have a few other things to talk about. You talked with Mike about the Hall of Fame and the banquet, Hall of Fame banquet, which
yes.
I think is something that everyone should try and get to if they can. If softball is your sport, you should try and do that.
It's a great evening. It sometimes gets long, and Mike kind of hinted at it today of, they're inducting 7 Hall of Famers, which is a little bigger class than typical, but a lot of good recognition is happening, not only for the Hall of Famers going in, but the umpires, our scholarship recipients that are getting a little money from the South Dakota ASA Association. So a lot of good things happening at that banquet, and just a time to mingle and wrap up the season for softball in October.
So if you're coming in for the Hall of Fame banquet, be sure and stop into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And check out all this history here, these beautiful old trophies and all these clippings and the bracket boards. I've seen some older brackets. So now if you're doing a bracket for a tournament, you need to think about how big is it and how will it fit in the Hall of Fame someday, 30 years down the road. And I think they do not have the tickets available for the banquet yet on the website, but I'm sure they will be soon.
Yeah.
But again, that's, when is that, October 10th?
October 10th.
At the downtown
Holiday Inn.
City Center Holiday Inn.
Yeah, my wedding reception was upstairs, so it's a beautiful room.
So you can just go and reenact your wedding?
Absolutely. Maybe we'll just...
Oh, I didn't get invited.
Yeah, well...
I didn't know you then.
You're invited.
We weren't friends. We're friends now.
Right. And I think they have rooms blocked off there.
They do, yes.
The Hall of Fame, so that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to meeting some of those folks, and hope we get a chance to go to that.
Yeah.
And I think, so we got that, and we have another recognition.
Yeah, this week's kind of cool because it comes from the Sioux Empire Softball Association. Anna Okerlund from Harrisburg was named the ASA Fast Pitch Youth Player of the Week because of her performance really in the league tournament and what she helped lead her Harrisburg Tigers to the 16-18 competitive B championship.
And we got to see some of that game. I got a chance to visit with Anna afterwards, and what a nice young woman.
Yeah.
Very deserving.
A great honor and a lot of fun just to see that team progress. That team's always kind of been a recreational team, and this year they stepped out and said we're gonna go to competitive B, and they've done very well, and now they'll be in the state tournament, and we wish them the best there too.
We'll get to see them again. So
yeah.
Congratulations on Oakland on being the ASA Youth Player of the Week. Very well deserved. And she was pitching.
She was pitching, yes.
She pitches. I think she's also had some good batting going on, so well done. Now, Week 7 nominations need to be submitted by Thursday, July 9th at noon. We hope to, after this last weekend, there should be some great nominations coming in.
Right.
It needs to be an ASA event, and the player needs to be registered with SDASA. So you can send those to sdasasoftball@outlook.com.
It's a great honor and something new that South Dakota ASA is doing this year, and there's still a few weeks left of nominations happening, so make sure to think about your players. I mean, coaches can nominate and get the word out to get more people in that nomination pool.
It seems like most of the nominees have been nominated by their coach or their whole team.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. And it's just a great way to recognize that outstanding effort that people are putting in.
Correct.
And help them get some recognition. So anything else for the good of the game that y'all have?
It's going to be a busy weekend of softball.
It is going to be a busy weekend of softball.
It's going to be fun though.
Start hydrating now.
Yes.
Right.
Keep drinking your water. And
we'll be back with you after the tournament. We'll talk a little bit about some of the results that we'll see this weekend. It's going to be exciting.
It will be.
So for this week on the Diamond, Softball 605, I'm Carol McKee.
I'm Travis Lape.
I'm Sandy Delker.
And
you are Softball 605.